everybody. It's me, Teresa McKelvey with the Yarn Shop Around the Corner, and today I'm here with my friend Sarah.
Hi.
And Sarah and I are going to have a little talk about how and the different ways that she has taken her craft to a different level. And so today, now you do crochet.
Yes.
Now, do you knit at all?
So I knit when I was a kid, like 11 or 12, and so I still can, like muscle memory, but
Right.
I drop stitches a lot. It doesn't come naturally to me like crochet does.
Right. Awesome. Now, when did you start crocheting?
I started in 2021.
So recent, like me.
Yes. I wanted to have something to do when I was at Zoom classes.
Right.
Because I found that sitting still in my bedroom did not work for me.
It's difficult, isn't it?
So I would crochet with my hands just under the camera so that I wouldn't get caught
They
in
didn't
class.
even know you were doing it. Oh, that's awesome. Now, just that brings up an interesting question. If you were in class, in person, can you crochet or knit, or would that be like a no-no?
I don't if it's a small class, like if it's like, 30 people or less, but I was in a lecture hall that had like 250 people in it.
Oh, wow.
And so I was crocheting during that one and taking notes, paying attention, interacting with the class, but it was so much easier for me to focus when I was busy with my hands.
Do you use it for stress relief as well?
Yes.
Do you? Okay.
Yes, and I typically have like 3 or 4 projects going on at once, and so what I'll do is if I'm stressed out, I'll figure out how much attention I need to distract myself with.
Right.
So if I'm just doing something that's got like a double crochet stitch all across the board, or if I'm doing like a virus shawl or something that I need to count for.
Right, exactly. I even find the counting repetitive, like calming in itself. So we're going to talk about how you're taking your crochet to the next level.
Yes.
I know you started crocheting for yourself. And then you went to crocheting for others, because that's what we all do. We say, here, you need this. Oh, I made this for you. Okay, so tell us what happened next.
So essentially, I started making gifts for people, as you said. And then I realized that I was spending a not insignificant amount of money on yarn, and I had a lot of stuff piled up in my basement that I was just like, I want it to be used. I want it to go to like a good home.
Exactly.
And so I figured I could start selling some stuff to make up the cost of the yarn and keep crafting, and also so that the creations would be loved.
Right, and as a yarn shop owner, I love that because it's supporting your habit, but it's also supporting a local yarn shop. And you always come in. That's how we met. I think we had a trunk show with Southern Skeins.
Yes,
was the first time we met, and so and which is a wonderful yarn dyer out of Florida, I believe. But yes, so you've learned to you also support local yarn shops with it. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing now with your items. Where are you selling them at, and what kind of things are you making?
I'm doing a lot of local craft shows. So I have brought some of my sample blankets with me. And one thing I've really gotten into is I'll crochet in the car. And my parents have to drive a lot for work, so I'll ride it in the car and do very simple baby blankets.
Right.
So what I did was I made a full-size sample, and then I got swatches of different yarns to put out to display next to it.
What a great idea. Because then you don't have to, if you find out about a what is it called? What are they called? The little arts?
Yeah, basically the pop-ups.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you find out about that in a short amount of time, you still can go and have a sample and have things for people to order. That is brilliant. That is a brilliant idea right there.
Yeah, so I actually have a pre-order that I'm working on now from one of those swatches because the person liked the blanket but wanted it in one of the different colors.
Right.
And so then they were able to sit there and hold the 2 colors they were torn between and go back and forth.
That is a great thing. And see, that's one of the things that I like about buying, and I'm going to make it about yarn shop, sorry, but, buying yarn online, you can't hold them together, you can't feel them, you can't touch them, and so coming in the shop, and I've seen you do it, you're like doing this and checking. Well, I think that is a wonderful tip for someone that wants to take their crochet to the next level, and they're like overwhelmed by that. I don't have time to crochet all these, get enough items for a fair, but I can do samples. What a genius idea.
Thank you.
So tell us some of the things that you make.
Well, like I said, I do a lot of blankets. I personally really love experimenting with different types of granny squares.
Yes, love granny squares.
And like different patterns for them. So what I've taken to doing is some granny square bags.
Nice.
So I've got sunflower bags. I'm working on a new pattern for heart bags.
Oh, cute.
I found a lovely granny square heart pattern, but it doesn't have a conversion for a square. It's just for the heart, because the center of the heart is a granny square.
Right.
So I'm working on converting that now.
So you're sort of creating your own granny squares as well.
I'm trying to. I have a very, I guess, analytical mind.
Right.
My parents used to do puzzles with us all the time when I was a kid, like logic puzzles, jigsaw puzzles, all those. So going from that to crochet, it's been fairly easy for me to figure out the different types of stitches and what it will look like before I do it.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I will say I'm not afraid to frog if it's not working.
Right. That is a really good tip, too, because I think a lot of times we think, oh, I just got to keep trying. I just got to keep figuring. And I love that you're saying, no, just frog it. Just start over, start again. Now, have you got any patterns up for us yet on Ravelry? And I say yet because I think you definitely should.
I have not actually written any.
Okay.
I need to learn how to write them. I have not done that before.
Right.
But I, sorry, my brain is totally blank.
That's fine.
I have a habit as well of if I make a mistake or count wrong, if I can go with it, I will go with it.
Right.
I'll
I love
just
that.
push through.
Exactly.
Like one of the funnier mistakes I think I've made was I was doing a blanket with a double crochet stitch, and I accidentally did like 3 single stitches, and I didn't notice until about 5 rows later.
Right.
So I went in, and over those 3 single stitches, I did 3 treble stitches.
Perfect.
And it just evened out.
Exactly, to make up the difference. That's great. And I think that's a good tip, too. We didn't even know what this video is going to be about, but it's about so much great things, tips, because sometimes I think you do need to just go with the flow of your, not stop your creativity. So have you thought about doing YouTube tutorials?
I have not really considered it, but it sounds like it would be a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun, and I think you're a natural at it. I think it'd be really great. And I know that we would all benefit from it, because I love a good granny square. I mean, I just do. There's so much you can do with them. And I think people only think of the traditional, like, really holy, but there's a solid granny squares. There's flower granny squares, as you said, a heart. I mean, there's just so much you can do with them, don't you think?
Yes, absolutely. I'll show you, and I'll send you a picture that you can post with this. One of the sunflower bags that I make, I do solid granny squares alternating with the flower pattern.
Oh, how
so
neat.
that I think that a pencil might slip through, but a tube of lipstick wouldn't.
Oh, that's
and so
cool.
that's kind of the size difference that I'm going for.
Right, exactly. Now, what all do you envision people using your bags for?
A lot of market stuff. Personally, I use them to carry like a book or my phone charger, my yarn, and
your projects, your yarn projects.
One tip that I highly, highly recommend is I got a cheap sunglasses case, just an empty one. And I keep my crochet hooks, my scissors, and my sewing needles in that, because I got really tired of reaching into my bag and stabbing myself with my scissors. Yeah,
that is a good tip. And it's a good place to put like little stitch markers in too.
Yes.
Because those, I'm always digging for those. And because I'm now a knitter, I have to use the point protectors. I think that's what they're called, so that my project doesn't slip off. And they're little tiny things, so that's a good place to put those too.
Yeah, definitely.
So what is there any creator that is out there in, I know you like Southern Skeins yarn for their yarn dyeing. Is there any project creators that you kind of follow and that you like, or that you are inspired by?
There's one on Instagram. I believe her name is Hey Hey Crochet.
Hey Hey Crochet. That's a cute name.
And she comes up with all her patterns. She does a lot of like practical use stuff.
Right.
So one that she recently did was an office chair cover to just kind of spruce it up.
Great idea.
And she'll do like shirts, sweaters, just a lot of different types of items, and I really love seeing her new patterns.
That is great. Well, I have really enjoyed, I always talk your ears off when you come in the shop. So I've really enjoyed. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us for a little bit and share what you're doing. Now, if people want to follow you, do you have an open Instagram or where they can see your items and order them?
Yes. My Instagram is called Sarah's Scrapyard.
Sarah's Scrap Yard.
Yes.
Okay.
And I am currently working on putting together a website.
Awesome.
But I hope to have that up soon.
We'll put all her contact information in the description below. And is some of your work up on your Instagram? Some of your bags and such?
Not yet.
I
need to post those.
Okay, all right. Well, she didn't know this was all happening today, so give her some time. But
yeah, I actually switched phones and I got locked out of my account, so I'm working on getting it back.
That is no fun.
But once I get back into it, I will post updates.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing this.
Yes, thank you for having me.
All right, we'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.